What's up, everybody? It's your girl Erica from the Classy Climb Blog. Still coming in with a little bit of cold, so you guys please forgive my voice. We have our Tech Tuesday here, and I wanted to start the show out with even Prince Harry got a job in tech. I know you guys on here give me a hard time about why am I talking about tech so much, and that's because I see such a big gap in our community in the bridge to tech, the bridge to the devices and the apps we use all the time, the bridge to where the future jobs are going, and us not even being in that space to compete. I think it's a dangerous space, dangerous part to be in. So, I had to bring on expert trainer, women in Lux. Please introduce yourself to the show, ma'am.
So Tamika Reed, founder of Women in Linux. We meet every Wednesday from 7 to 9. Find us on social media. Women in Linux, everything except for TikTok. Nothing to tick and talk with Linux for us. But other than that, you can also find us on LinkedIn, and you can find me on LinkedIn under Tamika Reed as well too. So if you're looking for something to do, you're bored, you want to change your career, give us a shout out.
Listen, I try my hardest to be like, y'all, tech, and it's because everywhere I go, and I'll even say for the past conference I just went to, there were people in there utilizing tech that I had never even heard of, using SaaS, had different programs. I was like, oh my God. I was blown away by this opportunity to understand greater. And then when they broke it down, it was like they weren't even impressed. They're like, oh girl, just a little bit of nothing. This is a little bit of nothing.
Right.
And they're like, me and 4 people could do this, okay? And so I just want you guys to understand the gravity of when I bring it on. I talk about abundance mindset and opening your mind up to the opportunity. A lot of times people in here are like, oh, Eric, am I too old to get in tech? Is it a lot of math? Is it, like you start creating these invisible barriers to opportunity for yourself, and it makes me very frustrated.
Yeah. So, and then, to add to that, like we had a young lady join us last week. She actually saw us on the live, and she was like, she was married for 30 years, so you can kind of guess her age there. And she was like, I saw you on Erica Williams show, and I'm ready to get back into it. I was in tech, and now I'm coming back into it. And she's like, I'm ready. So you're never too old. The only thing you're ever is too lazy to change. So that's you take that how you want to, but that's what it is.
So we've talked about it several times here that, there's going to be some big changes coming with the new administration. They are very pro, bring them on in. We need 500,000 HB1 visas. And I tell people to myself, when I look at the marketplace, I see the big gaping hole in trades, which is like 31 million people. We ain't all going to be able to do that. I see the big gaping hole in tech. We ain't all going to be able to do that. And I also see the big gaping hole in the medical industry. And so when I see this stuff, and I'm like, the dawn of the droids, the future for skills, carbon, and tech. And what are some of your thoughts on some of these articles I sent you? If you can remember, I know I sent you so many, but.
So I can give you a quick rundown of thoughts altogether, right? Mm-hmm. So one of the big things that was happening these past 2 weeks was the NVIDIA conference, where we're started talking about AI machine learning, right? I even posted last night the new robots that are coming out for fast food restaurants, where they can dip the fries, they can flip the actual meat. You already have the calculation. You already have the app to order your food. So basically, it's just going to be a pull up. I think they started that already in Nevada somewhere with McDonald's, but there are other companies that are trying to do this as well too. So when I see things like, the whole thing with droids and future skills, the other questions that come to me, and this may not even make sense to some people, but what would be the future of teachers as well too? If you have a robot in the classroom that can teach a subject or can actually help you maybe be a teacher's assistant. So I think of things like that when we're talking about what does the future of tech look like? What does the future of the classroom look like, especially for students, your young kids that are coming up? I think some of that is going to change, especially now that we've, I saw the article that the third vaccine may be coming out. Well, what about the kids that don't want to go back to school? What about the parents that don't want to send their kids back to school? What if you did replace it with something similar to a robot where you can switch off your classes? You can break them up and say, okay, well, I can replicate that planner that that teacher has with this droid and separate the kids into other classrooms. Just think about the things that it could be, not what it is, but what it could be.
Even the droid here in this article, they were talking about for construction. The average construction guy is 57 years old. I think people think I'm joking when I tell you this. I'm like, they are struggling to find people to do brickwork, number one thing in Detroit that's hiring, I know people think it's just doesn't believe it, is actually construction. So Detroit literally brings in people from Georgia, Virginia, Tennessee, everywhere else to do construction in Detroit. And you have unemployment out there. And I'm like, y'all, they're not asking for a lot. They're literally asking you to show up and they will train you. Yep. And the things I've been trying to teach people is every conference I go to is like preparing business owners and telling them you're going to have to train people. That's just a part of the new future. Is you're going to get people that are basically a blank slate. They're 19 to 30 years old. They're going to come in the job with no skills. You're going to have to train them all the way up, pay thousands of dollars, and then they're going to have to hopefully, because of the economy, be loyal to you. Or you have some kind of contract saying they have to pay back for the school, like we do our truck drivers in our industries, or something else. And so even here, when it comes to construction, they're like, hey, we might just have to use a robot. Hector, Jose, and whoever ain't on time, or somebody's drunk at the job, or somebody's mask is off, or something goes wrong, we can just use a robot.
Yep, there is a company here in Tampa that are paying high school kids to do construction, but their starting salary is $100K once they do this apprenticeship program. And I think the program is only 2 years. I think you do 2 years of, your general work, and then 2 years of construction, and they roll you right into working. And they advertise it on the radio. They're just trying to get people in to do the work. And I don't think it's just for high school. I have to look it up again, but they're hiring. Right. So, and that's here in Florida where the real estate is hot.
Mm-hmm. Even in the picture, if you guys can see this picture, they're training this robot to go in tunnels because they're like, how can we prevent more injuries in tunnels and crawl space? And let's be honest, some of the article didn't say it, but it's like, how do we get these fat men in these tunnels? We ain't got to worry about that no more. We're going to send this robot arm down there, and the man going to stand on top of on the ground and control the robot arm. And it can be a boring job, but it could be less pose health and safety risks. Now, another reason they're doing this particular drone, people don't understand, is the Golden Gate Bridge. Does anybody know what that is in California, where it's giant red bridge? You know what I'm talking about, Tamika? Yep. So they send men, if you actually watch Mike Rowe's Dirty Job, they actually send men down these long columns down all the way to the bottom, and they can only be down there so many hours. And like, it's always a skinny man that has to fit in there, and they're literally painting that same bridge over and over and over and over again. And I'm like, will we always be able to hire somebody to do that?
You can always hire somebody to do it, but will they want to do it? Yeah. Will you find that enough people to do the work over and over again? As number one, does the income and the housing that I'm staying in, does that match what I need to do? How dangerous is that? And can I do something else that's less dangerous and make that same income? Those are the, your trade-offs when you start talking about that.
Man, I was so claustrophobic watching the video. I'm like, I don't know what grown man's like. Yep, let me crawl down this little tiny crawl space, scrape it up with this scraper, then repaint it every couple of years, because the bridge, the way they made the iron back then, and the way, it's in the water, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, they've literally built this thing that's dark and damp, and what happens to iron in dark and damp spaces? It rusts without being painted over and over and over again to lock it in. So
I wouldn't be surprised if they start using drones for that, because they're already using drones to do inspection on bridges. It wouldn't be too far sacrifice to
It's
say, okay,
weird. Yeah, it's inside. You like have to go down these weird amount of stairs. It's crazy.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. I don't know how much paint they can get out of that, but you never know.
For sure, for sure. Let me see. There was another article I want to share with y'all. And I was just down there in Florida, girl. Y'all got a lot going on. Y'all got a lot of woo going on down there. Oh man, here it is. Here it is. What you just said. Hold on. Let me share it back again. That's what I meant to show. Here it is. Look at this drone, y'all. Go up the wall to paint this brick. We were just saying it could go down the bridge, but it's on the wall, y'all.
Yep.
Going up the wall to paint.
Yep.
Going up the wall to paint.
And those to get your FA license as well too, and then start doing construction. Of course, that changes the type of drone and so forth. But I mean, at this point, it's not too far fetched to synchronize. I mean, even at Disney, they have drone synchronization when they're doing their fireworks. It's a drone synchronization show. So I mean, it wouldn't be too far fetched to get drones to go down and repeatedly to do some painting in sequence. You're programming it. That's not that hard to do.
This drone is laying bricks, y'all. Watch out! Watch out! This drone is laying bricks. It's called automated brick laying robot. They all have names. I'm just not reading every single name. I just want to tell y'all, like, I mean, this guy said literally, we're going to make ghettos of badly built houses that are falling apart. It'll be absolute madness if we don't find modern methods of construction.
Yep.
Okay. And then there's that one. So even when people tell me, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, I'm like, everything you touch is going to have some type of tech in it. Everything you touch, there is no future without it in it.
Always.
Here's another one. Let me see here. This is freelancers are looking. Can you see it? Let me see. I hope I can make it bigger. Uh-oh. Oh, you know how these articles try to treat me when I want to go on. Just the disrespect. Disrespect. Okay, freelancers looking to break into tech industry can try what techniques? You tell us what techniques to try. If I want to break into tech today, what is something I can try? How am I going to get in there?
Depends on what you're trying to do, but some avenues and aspects you can try to break into tech is one, tech writing. That's one aspect of it. Another one is still, cloud training, doing the basics of cloud. Another one too that people don't really think about is agile, being an agile coach. So really trying to help people remove the blockers and understand what it means to have continuous delivery and continuous integration on a project with multiple teams, even just a one team, maybe going to just one cloud. But then think about if you got multi clouds, or even think about it this way. When you're talking about, the robots and the drones and painting, there's still a project. There's still somebody that has to manage it. Yeah. They still have to remove blockers. So there's just minimal. Those are just the minimal ways to get in tech. And the other one is understanding. I don't care what nobody say. I just saw an article today with cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is they've got a big push now for cybersecurity in space. So what does that look like with the satellites? So now you're just thinking about cybersecurity here. No, think about cybersecurity in space. And then let's take it one step further. How do we secure the robots? How do we secure the information that they're retrieving, the signal that they're retrieving? Just a ton of ways to get in tech without you spending, 10 years to try to get there, to get a degree and then get into tech. There's also another one is called a developer's advocate, where you're pretty much being, I don't want to call it a sponsor, but you're advocating and showing off a product for a particular company or a particular group in a company.
Mm-hmm.
So with that developers advocate, it kind of blends and blurs the line of understanding how to be an evangelist of the product,
Mm-hmm.
and also more on the sales side, and also understanding the product itself. Full circle, there's sales engineering.
Mm-hmm.
That's super huge as well too. And it's not sales engineering from the perspective of like, oh my God, I know this product in and out. It is, oh my God, I understand what the client needs. And I understand what the products we have that can help solve that problem. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, you're providing and you're being the solution when you walk in. You're listening to the customer. You're understanding what the customer needs. You're going back and say, okay, well, these are the products that you do have. Here's the products that can help enhance and move you in the right direction. So those are just all just really at a minimum for you to get in the door. And those in sales engineer, I can't say you can't learn sales engineering in school. What I can say is you can't learn the products that you're going to sell in schools because the products are based upon the company.
Bingo. So even prime example, I thought about bringing this up to you is Salesforce. Salesforce was in charge of the SBA loan debacle, and Salesforce couldn't even handle it. And Salesforce is like the number one, whatever, it pitched itself to the government, being like, yo, we're going to do this, and government can trust us to do it. And I'm like, even Salesforce couldn't handle the capacity of what people needed. And that's like the number one.
And even you can go back to the debacle during the Obama administration with the healthcare coming online when they were talking about, oh, the website is down, we couldn't get back up.
Mm-hmm.
They had to turn into people that were really infused in tech and come in and actually get that to work. Another company that comes to mind is 18F. You can check them out. They actually get into more or less helping the government move at a fast pace with their teams and what they're doing. So just a number of ways to get in. Sponsorships as well. Open source community. I should have said that. Oh my bad. I got something going on here. Let me find out where it's at. Close down all my screens.
Listen, when you got 27 screens open, I know the struggles.
Let me close all my screens. But no, when it comes down to another one is working in open source communities. So working on an open source project, right? So if you go and start looking at an open source project, you can figure out different ways you can get in, from documentation. Everybody hates documentation. Nobody never wants to document their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of open source projects are looking for people to come on board and actually help with the documentation, help bring in other people on board their particular project and help them solidify, things that they need to do right away. So that's one aspect, right, of being on an open source project. Another aspect of being on an open source project is just getting involved in it and saying, okay, well, what does this project do, and being an evangelist for that project. So that's just just another way to get in. And the reason why I bring up open source is because inside of open source projects, there are many companies that are working inside of that open source project. So you may run into somebody who's working at VMware, and they may be at the head of AI at VMware, but they see your name come across the feed, and say, oh yeah, I work with them on this project. They're doing something that I like how they code, or I like their personality. Let's give them a shot, and it may not be the interview that you think that you need to do. It may just be walking you in the door.
So you see this article up on the screen is Facebook plans to go after Clubhouse and podcasts with a suite of new audio products.
Yep, they're out.
I feel like that's because Facebook got such a on the hand from all the censorship they've been doing this past election and lost a big kind of viewership. A lot of people are like, well, I'm going over here to this thing. And I don't think Facebook's in a decline or anything to that nature. I just can see the writing on the wall that they sell ad space and they need eyeballs, right? They can only squeeze money in every single department, to some extreme.
I look at it two ways, right? I look at it two ways. I look at it as Facebook already has the infrastructure to do it,
Mm-hmm.
whereas Clubhouse has the infrastructure, but if you've ever been on the app, sometimes some of the
I
rooms you
can't.
can't get in, some of the rooms are sometimes you can't mute yourself or you can't do something. So they're still having growing pains.
Problems.
Yep. So Facebook is already there. It's not a big thing for them to pull you know audio out of some type of data
They listen
or
to everything you say anyway, so you
yeah.
know.
So it's not too far fetched for them to already take that, ramp it up, and let people run with it. And then you still have Gen X on back, that are still using it. Gen X, we're not dead yet, so
40 to 59, but I'm just saying you had a lot of Trumpers like
yeah,
I'm
you do.
leaving. And you have a lot of people being censored. And then and again, you can also blame marketers. You can blame people like me. We're out here throwing ads up every 2 minutes in your face. Um, hey, we got to eat. I can't feed my children on 34 million, as Dak Scott said. I can't feed my children on that. Okay.
Right. So
Um,
so here's another one for you that just came out today. I don't know if you saw it. Amazon is getting into hair salons.
I need them to not. Like I feel like they just are fighting with the Korean community and they don't want that fight. They don't
Yep.
want that. They don't want
Yep.
that drama.
Yep, but they're getting into hair salons because now they can do AR, VR, and they can say, okay, well, this is what you would look like if you got pink hair or purple hair or braids, or here's what it looked like with your outfit and so forth and so on. So they have that technology. They're really pretty much already there. They just need to add a piece to it. I don't know whose lens they're going to use, since Microsoft won that, what was it, 21 billion or $2 billion
Contract.
HoloLens, contract with the government. Can't remember if it was 21 or 2.1. Yep.
Well, even when someone's saying Clubhouse is declining because it won't open up to Android, and that's the biggest. I know y'all think, oh, Android is still one of the biggest phones in America.
Yep.
Laugh all you want, Cricket, PCS, all that other stuff. These people, Android is the phone. You
Yep.
have more. iPhone is crap. I'm sorry. They give you the same made fake box from China and child labor. I don't want it. I don't want it now. You're not gonna try to tell Erica. You should get on. No, you ain't getting on that. Also, these robot legs taught themselves to walk. So right now, if I'm in somewhere and some legs got up by themselves, I will blow that whole building up. They'd be like, arrested scientist Erica Williams.
Yep.
Well, I was sitting there and then I saw it. The legs walked by themselves, and I
Yep.
knew I had created Skynet. So
Yep.
pew 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 pew.
Yep. So the only thing left, they already have the robotic arm already working and doing this thing. We already have the monkey that was playing Pong with his mind.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you already had that data. You now you just have, we're at that age. What was the movie with oh God, what was his name? Mrs. Doubtfire, where he was the robot and he learned to be human and he was like, oh, I'm gonna be human. That's where we're going.
Oh, Johnny Five. Johnny Five is alive.
Right. We're getting to the point now where we got, human noise per se, but we're going down that route. It's not too far fetched.
I mean, listen, and this is why, and I'm saying this, and this is not like, I'm trying to think of the nice way to say it. Like when I was in Florida, and even when I've been in other cities, even when I was in Oakland, prime example. That's a better example than Miami. I was in Oakland and I was like, yo, I'm going to Afro Tech. I'm so excited. And so many Black people that were there were like, what's that? What's that?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I'm sitting here like, you are in the bastion of tech. And people are like, well, everybody don't like tech, Erica. And I'm like, but what I'm trying to get you to understand is like, there's so many careers. It's like being near a military town. You'll talk to somebody and find out they're a doctor, dentist, lawyer. So it's over 700 careers in the Army, but you only heard of 2 because of your uncle or somebody.
Yep.
And so that's my whole thing when I see tech. When people act like, oh, I don't want to do tech. You in Oakland, you in the Bay, and you ain't found no like career you can get your foot in the door and make all this tech money. To me, that's just like I don't understand it. And then when I hear about poverty and stuff, I'm like, I'm not trying to say people bringing it on themselves, but we've been telling y'all about this for 10 years now. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We've been out here like, hey,
Yeah.
change is coming.
Yeah, and the other part of that is a lot of people are not really sure how they fit into tech, right? So it's being able to take this thing that people doing. You hear all these billions. You hear all these things. Oh, this is $1 trillion company. Ask yourself, like, well, how do I fit into that? And then you start questioning and asking, and then you get somebody that it only takes one person to kill a dream. It only
For
takes
sure.
one person to kill a dream. So if somebody says, "Oh, well, you're gonna have to do at least 8 years," no, you know what I mean? No, I'm not going to do that. It's automatically no. I'm going to go back to what I've been doing because I'm familiar with that. So this is it only takes one person to kill that dream.
Our body goes to the most comfortable. And again, and people been like, Erica, you on this vortex of abundance conversation. And I'm like, I have to, because if you don't get so in sync, like today I had a meeting with one of my staff members, and he is one of those people you have to put the emotional blocks up on. Like, sir, focus, here, done. That's it. Right? Very useful in men conversations. But if just let unranged, like, oh my God, control those emotions. And so I literally had to go, this is A, B, C, D. And that's it. Right? And what ends up happening is I realize many people out there are like, just tell me what to do. I don't want to think about it. I just want to show up and go to work.
Yep. I
want to go home.
3 easy steps. 1, 2, 3.
And you told us last time, what's the 3 easy steps? What's the 3 easy steps to get a tech?
Pick a cloud, Linux for me, or you can pick Windows if you want to. Whatever. But and then security. So and I say start with the
Security Plus. Security. And what was the third one?
It was Security Plus, and then operating system, Linux or Windows, and then oh God, you just made me forget it. Security Plus, operating system. Oh, Linux, operating system. Oh, and to pick a cloud, and that cloud could be AWS, it could be Azure, and it could be Google Cloud, and go from there. And when you want to get advanced, you can go somewhere else and say, okay, well, let's start looking at a hybrid cloud situation, because there are a lot of companies out there that are in that situation where they're doing AWS, they're doing Azure, and they're doing on-prem, and they have no desire to move all their stuff to the cloud.
Somebody said in here, as a designer,
nobody's spending time to design for all those Androids. That's okay. That's all right. Somebody does, because we have apps. So it depends on what your market you're looking for. It depends on the market that you're trying to take care of when it comes down to that. That's how I look at it. Somebody asked in the comments, what's wrong with Windows? It's nothing wrong with Windows. It depends on what you want to do in Windows. It depends on what your apps are doing, right? So if you need a desktop or some type of VDI solution or something of that nature, great. If you need, they even have Macs. Mac, I think it's called Mac in the Cloud or Macs in the Cloud or something like that. So you can get you a Mac in the cloud. Now, even I think Amazon just came out with it. You can now spin up a Mac in the cloud, right? So in case you didn't want to spin up Linux or Windows, you can spin up Apple in the cloud.
Listen, I people have asked me, Erica, you keep buying these HPs and these other laptops. Ain't you tired of them dying on you? Why don't you come over here to Apple? And I'm like, I don't want to learn a new system. That's it. Like, I don't like Apple, 1, and 2. Like, I'm not one of those YouTubers like, I have to have amazing graphics and I'll do editing on my computer. I don't. I'm an infomercial kind of educator.
Gotcha.
and connector. And even when it comes to real estate and projects and things I will do in the future, the rest of this year, that's all I can do all that on HP. I can go get $200 laptops, put it in my staff hand, and they make work. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have to um, heavily invest like that. Even if I did pick one, it'd be to somebody like AM1 or something like that or something. And he got his own stuff. That's what I'm saying. So it's like I don't need that.
Right. And I think people pick the tech that they're comfortable with. And when I say the tech that they're comfortable with, like a lot of people like ecosystems. Like, so if I'm Apple phone, I want everything Apple, down to
Apple socks, Apple phones.
Everything is somebody else who's Google, they're Google everything, right? And so people buy into ecosystems because they're seamless, they're friendly. I can get them all to work together. I don't have to jump through hoops in order to make that work. But if I pick something like an HP or something like that, that's not seamless with everything in my house. If I got a Echo, then how do I get my laptop to recognize my Echo? So a lot of people look for that. I personally don't look for that. I don't need knowing everything and sending out all my information. I don't need all that.
Listen, Skynet, listen to all these conversations. God bless them. But that's why I say, like, if you see me on Amazon trying to buy stuff, everybody be like, "Why you always anti-Apple?" I'm like, I won't buy the sound, they machine, they radio, none of them. I'm like, fight the power. I'm like they were the resistance. Now I'm the resistance on the other end. Like, no. Here's one of the articles that said how to break into tech sales and stand out from the other clients. What are some things you think people can do to stand out?
Know the product, number one, so you know how to add on to that. And when I say add on to that, remember when you're sitting at the table in tech sales, you're not really sitting there by yourself. You bring in other engineers, or bring in other salespeople that may be senior or may know a product a little better than what you do. But when I also say that, you need to understand what the customer pain points are, and being able to help that customer solve those pain points. So what does that mean? That means you need to be able to listen, right? That means you need to be able to provide a listening ear, then provide some feedback. And if you don't know, say, hey, let me pull X, Y, and Z in, because they're a little bit more versed on that than what I am. But here's what I'm thinking. You never want to leave them without something, but always bring in someone else to make sure that that you're not, one, telling them the wrong thing, and two, you just want to make sure you seal that deal for that customer. And that comes with you understanding what products that the company that you're working for has, and also understanding your actual competition as well too, because it'll be times where you may be working with a AWS person, and they're doing everything in cloud formation, and you're like, no, as the customer, we're going to do everything in Terraform. And so if I'm the customer and I'm paying, and I'm telling you I'm going to do everything in Terraform, guess what you're going to do? Because I'm paying you, you're going to adopt to learning Terraform. So understand that the other products that are out there that customer may want to use or may already be trained up on is something that you may have to bring in other people, or you may learn and help them get going on their solution for their pain. So that's just something that you should think about as a sales engineer. It may not be all your product, right? You have to learn to adapt to what they need. And also you want to make sure that they're happy. And also you want to make sure you're selling exactly what you need to sell to them.
Well, even a better tip in here is find mentors who are willing to help you throughout the interview process. Where can they go with you to get help on the interview process?
I actually have a calendar link to sign up for. We have one-on-ones. We do 30 minutes and an hour if you need it. I try to give you everything that you ask for, in terms of, hey, you want to do resume reviews, or you want to do job searching together, or you want to go over and say, hey, let's do a mock interview. And people tell you I'm quick to ask you questions in my meetup and do interviews on the spot. That's just what I do. But again, at the same token, we're here to help you. and help you succeed, not help you get in and just be in one place. We want you to move forward. We need as many people as we can in leadership positions. So whatever we got to do to get you there, that's what we need to do.
Hey, you guys, if this information is helping you, please drop a 1 in the comments just so we can make sure we're on task and you're hearing what you need to hear. You guys have some great questions in here. I'm just going through some of the articles we've been looking at. Now, some people are like, you know, I'm older, I got kids, you sure? How will I know what's for me in tech?
And
And what would
and
you
that's
tell
the
them?
beauty of it. The beauty of it is you don't know. The beauty of it is you have to try. So what I try to give you is a 360 view of tech,
Mm-hmm.
from sales engineering to AI machine learning to site reliability engineering to even we even brought on people that want to go back to school and get their PhD. We have mentors for that. That's actually coming up. So it depends on how you see yourself and what you want to do in tech. We have some people that actually came in and said, "Hey, I'm doing stock investing, and I don't know if this is going to be a good fit for me or not." But the answer to that is it is. So, and let me tell you why. So all these all these all the servers that are crunching these numbers and getting doing high frequency trading, they all run on Linux, right? So you're thinking about, how fast can I get, and then people pay big money for these, how quickly am I getting this trade in, how quickly am I selling this. That's a
Mm-hmm.
big community, right? So that's just to think about it. If you go look up Benzinga on benzinga.com, if you ever check them out on YouTube, they run stuff all day long, and they talk about nothing but SPACs, techs, and stock, right? They're even hiring. And what they're hiring for people to be a crypto analyst, where you study, where you're looking at the market and understand crypto in and out, and you're writing articles about it. They're looking for people to talk about SPACs. They're looking for people to come in and be an analyst, to be on the shows,
Mm-hmm.
and they're based out of Detroit. So if you want to take a look at that, that's another aspect, right? Where you're actually being a journalist, or basically a reporter on what's going on in the crypto world. That's super huge.
I mean, seriously, say that one more time. You're a reporter in the crypto world, and that's
Yeah.
called, what job is that called?
That one is called a crypto analyst. And you can go to Benzinga, Benzinga. They're based out of Detroit,
Mm-hmm.
and check them out. Also, you can also check out the spec that's actually coming out with Michael Jordan and Mark Cuban. That particular spec, they were looking for someone to understand NFTs and be a NFT analyst as well too, and also doing being an analyst for blockchain as well too. So there's everything in tech that you think about is tech. There's probably an analyst for it, somebody that's giving a description, or trying to understand how to explain that to the common person.
And the reason, and I know people are like, "Don't be petty, Erica," but the reason I've been bringing this up is, like, I keep seeing stories of basketball players and football players and rappers and all these people. Oh, I struggle, and then I actually see some rappers who are like, "I knew this was temporary. I done already gotten that." Like Chamillionaire. Like, my goal is to interview him at some point, and I know he's like, way up there, but there's a way to you can get in somebody's face somehow, and I already have an idea how I'm gonna do it. But my whole thing is, like, I really want people to pay attention. There's a whole, like, football field size dearth from where parts of our community are to that kind of world,
Hmm.
and I just want people to look. There's a Portland singer who started a nonprofit to get women of color into tech. Like, I want y'all to understand, like, when I talk about how 150,000 women lost their job in December and not one man lost his, like, y'all, the PPP came out so that nobody would lose their job.
Hmm.
And 150,000 women still lost their job.
Yep. Not
Like, I,
surprised.
I want y'all to understand, like I literally make notes, because I'm trying to get one of my family members. I'm like, Security Plus, Linux, and AWS, and I can go get a job.
Yep. Yep, and we talk about it all the time. I saw somebody in the comments saying that if you have a cloud, you got to have Security Plus and you got to have Linux. Yep, that's Northern Virginia. That's the DMV area. That is the contracting world of tech. You're gonna always have a government contract, whether it's a secret clearance or TSSCI, CI with a poly or full scope or just a public trust. I mean, again, you're gonna then have to have some type of clearance. But what's cool about the DMV area, it is project dependent. You may be in AWS on one contract, and you may be on GCP in another one, and you may be on Oracle in another contract, and then in another contract you may be on Azure. It is all depending on who won that bid and what's going on with it. So, just be versed is how I look at it. Take the fundamental class of Azure, take the fundamental class of GCP, take the fundamental class of any of those, just so you can know what the terms are and how to speak to those terms. And then if you want to do a deeper dive on AWS, then go ahead and do a deeper dive on AWS. Does AWS have a big part of the market share? Absolutely. But now you're starting to see places like even with the new things that are coming out from Apple, like the new products that are coming out for Apple, they're building their own chips. So what does that mean? They're looking for people that are doing embedded chips. They're looking for people to do embedded Linux. They're, the whole IoT, revolution. That's still huge. There's still people out there looking for that. I was actually on a call today, and I was listening, and the guy was like, "Yeah, Apple pays their embedded engineers. Some of them start out at $1 million for their salary." And I was like, wow, we're embedded Linux engineers, starting out at $1 million. Who would have thunk it? 15, 20 years ago, but we're at that space now where we're that's what we need.
I mean, and this is why I'm telling people, think about 500,000 people coming here, immigrating here for these jobs. What are they going to do? They're going to tell everybody in India, I just got to America with this job. And you're going to have, 5 million people follow. And India's got 1 billion people. So don't get it twisted. They got people on people on people. Right. And so if you look at what happened here in America with India, with the hotel industry, India is even now in the trucking industry, right? 30,000 Sikh Indians here immigrated for that. Again, they did not come to play. Is that my computer or yours?
Maybe yours.
Hold on. Oh, it's the Portland singer. So I'm going to just go ahead and click her off. I was like, excuse me, Becca? Who's this talking? So a self-made SM said, how can I get into tech in terms of media? From algorithms, data mining, gaining more attention to what I want to promote? What skills I need to require in order to get to that point?
All right. So you said in terms of media, when you say that, are you talking about recording something?
Promoting your startup or something?
Yeah.
Give us some more in depth there. Help us out.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that one. Then the other aspect from algorithms, data mining, and gaining more attention. That sounds like AI and machine learning. There is a AI and machine learning. Actually, I just posted this in our Slack. They're actually looking for people who want to learn. There's actually a class out there where they're promoting free AI and machine learning classes for that. And you're saying, what skills do you need to acquire in order to get to that point? Well, algorithms is something you can study. And actually, if you want to study on your own, there's a book out there for algorithms. I'll have to get it and post it. I'll probably post it in the comments. But if you want to do data mining as well, too, there's also a class for that. But however, if you don't want to learn on your own, here's the best suggestion for you. Go to a community college. Most of the general stuff when it comes down to algorithms and data structures, those are common foundational classes or general foundational classes for programming. And you can get that at a community college. If a community college isn't near you, go to a 4-year college and just, learn those classes and take those classes. They're probably going to start you out, depending on the school, they're probably going to start you out in Java. They're probably going to start you out maybe in C++, depending on the school. It depends. But those classes are foundational classes. Those classes are not like, oh my God, I got to wait till my senior year to get those. No, you're taking that in your first year or two of classes.
Okay. Someone said my Indian coworker came here with every Cisco cert, but here in America they push CompTIA certs on us.
Yep.
He didn't even know what that was.
Yep.
Hey, listen, guess what he doing though?
Yep. So the one thing you got to understand, you got to understand, there is a market out there. There is a section of people that only study for tests. That's it. They only study for. They can't do the work. They know how to do the test. They know how to pass the test. And like I said before, the trick that was told to me was take all the practice tests that you can, and then go take the exam. Once you take the exam, then go back and study what you failed. Right? Once you study what you failed, go back and take the exam again. There are people that just that's all they do is just pass the exam. They don't really know how to do the work. But when what happens there is now it comes out in an interview. Is like, okay, and for some people, they don't care about getting the job that's paying 150. They just need to get the job paying 90. I'll learn while I'm there, or my friends work there, and I'll get hired up. So you got to understand there are gatekeepers out there.
They hold on the fence like, it's my last little job. I'm gonna get it. Listen, y'all, I literally, not trying to be funny, not trying to be making fun of this. I was joking with Tamika that I might just go get my Security Plus just to hold it up and be like, even I, a busy woman, got my Security Plus. Like, just to show y'all how easy it is. Like, not making fun of it, but just being like, some folks are really terrified of going out there and studying, and they had this whole pandemic to get it together. Oh, thank you. Women in Lux posted media tech jobs, multimedia training developer, broadcast engineer, big data, tech lead, media campaign strategics. If you look at a lot of these frat boys that started lead generation companies, they're big on data, right? And you may laugh about, but they knew how to get in those Facebook ads.
Yep. And media tech in turn relates to a company combines media and digital and online technology. Name me a company that doesn't combine media, digital, and online technology. A lot of the open source projects do that as well too. VMware is another good one. I mean, the list goes on when we're talking about even the NFL, right? Even I don't know if anybody paid attention to Tops that IPO this week. They're doing NFTs. And the reason why they're doing NFTs is because they want to be able to get not just the first time you trade a card, right? They want to get the money after you trade the card 2, 3, 4, 5 times, so they're trying to get money on the third and fourth trade. So just think now with your old trading cards that you used to have with Shaq or MJ, draft day card. Now those cards are now digital. And so now if I go to trade that card, now I can trade that card with John. John can trade that card with Sam, but that company is still making money after that trade versus the first time they only made that trade off the first one.
There's a young man that I'm bringing into the Rise of 20%. He literally bought a Lamborghini, and instead of making it 150,000, right? And everybody buys one share. He put it in the NFT, made it $450,000, and everybody buys their particular amount of shares. And then they have a calendar slot of how many days they can drive the vehicle. Is that not crazy? He's going to be in the Rise of 20% explaining all of it. So if you're in the Rise of 20%, that's a little tidbit coming soon. But yeah, like we were all there sitting on the boat, like, explain it again. He was like, yes. And then you put together a website, and it has their schedule on there, and then they get to pick their schedule. And we're sitting there like, and people paid. And I go, think about it. If they live in the Bay, and they got $4,500. Now they ain't got enough money to get no Lambo.
Yep.
But they got just enough money to ride that Lambo maybe 2 times a month for a whole year. You know what I mean? Like, I thought about it and I was like, that's pretty smart.
Yeah, it's just like going on Turo.
And he's a nice black guy out of the Navy. So.
Yeah, it's like going on Turo. If you go on Turo now, like in this area, I was like, okay, what does it cost to put a Porsche or a Range Rover or any type of luxury car in there? So I saw a Range Rover in there for 2020. There it's going for 540 a day, and you have to rent it a minimum of 3 days. So you think 500? Let's take off the 4,500 times 3. That's 1,500. You know, boom. Whatever payment you had it's half of that, or is you made that payment, or if you paid for the car in cash, that's money in your pocket.
So again, Naomi, smack your hand a little bit. She said she came in late. Question is, does it matter which CSP you learn to obtain a job? Sorry if you have to repeat this.
No, cloud service provider. No, it doesn't matter what cloud service provider. What matters is what what area you're in. Like I say, if you're in Northern Virginia, 9 times out of 10 it probably is AWS, but that's project dependent. If you're in Austin, it could be anything. If you're in Florida, it could be anything. Right? It just really depends on what company you're going after. Most people don't care about the fact that Azure and you don't know AWS. They know, well, here's the one thing they know: you understand the fundamentals of cloud. Which means you understand scalability, you understand elasticity, you understand how to migrate an instance, or what an instance is, what is an application load balancer, what is a load balancer. You understand these things. So at the crux, you understand the foundations of what makes up the cloud and understand the shared responsibility model. But you understand the basics, and that's all they really care about, because the other part you can learn as you come on board.
So this person put, I'm studying security plus. I'm in the Air Force, but I would like to freelance. Is that possible?
You can freelance, but the security plus is not going to give you what you want. I'm assuming. So here's what I think: when you're freelancing, you want to make a certain amount of income that is going to pay your bills, and then have you money left over to do what you need to do. Getting the security plus isn't going to give you that unless you're combining that with some other set of skills, such as Linux or Windows or Azure or GCP. You would have to combine that with something else and then start your freelance work. The best thing to do is, if you're in the Air Force now, go ahead and start freelancing now, right? So build up your name, build up your skills, and so forth. You can start with something like anywhere, a project that may take 10 hours or 15 hours, and then charge somebody like, $85 to $150 an hour, depending on what it is, depending on the length of time it's going to take, and then start building yourself that way. But getting the security plus isn't going to get you the freelance that you want, because you got to think somebody is going to be asking, how do I secure my cloud, my information in the cloud? And security plus isn't going to give you just that. It's going to give you some security ideas, some fundamentals. But now you got to start looking at, well, what is the cloud, and how do I secure the cloud? So looking at classes with cloud security, SANS.org has some cloud security classes as well too.
So you guys are cracking me up inside the chat. Yes, NFT is non-fungible tokens. And somebody said, so NFT is like a timeshare. In this case, yes. It is like a timeshare, and those men are willing to do it. Yeah, she said, I look to a G-Wagon. Yeah, I mean, and it works in certain cities. Like when we were at this restaurant, I met one of the YouTube students in Miami, Florida, and outside the window was a Lambo, and it had a Instagram sticker on the side. And me being like a young person, like, ooh, Instagram, let me see what they're talking about. Of course, it was a Torino link. It was a website full of what the cars they had and rented on Torino. So I'm looking at that brother like, he was renting. You ain't in that vehicle. But great way to market themselves. Great way. I remember I missed a 6-figure job for 9 months because I had not taken my security plus yet.
Yep.
Woo!
Yep. It's just in the DMV area and even Nebraska. Anywhere you find a military base, there's Security Plus. It's just a standard. That's just what it is.
Mm-hmm. And so my joke with the title is even Prince William is in tech. What you doing? What are you doing so important that you ain't in tech?
Yep.
Right? My business is tech. All the data I have, we have to secure it. Everything is tech.
Yep.
So let me see.
Even using YouTube is tech, right?
Okay. Like they got stuff on the backside that's super technical. I'll be like, not doing it, not doing it. What somebody else had someone said as an artist, how can I use NFT? That's hard for me to even tell you.
As an artist, how can you use it?
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
you give her artist or designer.
I can give a 50,000 foot view. Being able to take a picture, sell that picture as an NFT. I mean, you can look at what was his name that just did it for 29 million. He sold the picture. Was it Dorsey? Was it Jack Dorsey that did that? So I will start looking down that route. There are tons of YouTubers out there that are doing NFTs in their own discords and selling hats and selling stuff. So I would start there and start looking at how can you monetize that, and then go from there.
So sorry, y'all. I am still sick and
Right.
coughing in your ear every 2 minutes. Okay. Let us know one more time for those who are like, I don't know, Eric. I'm 40 years old. Might live another 50 years.
Yeah.
The dude just died at 99, but I'm worried because I'm 41 years old.
Yeah, the basics.
How long will it take them to study their Security Plus?
The Security Plus, I give somebody who's new, never looked at it, I give them 3 months. And I'm being generous. If you like studying it and understanding the different cryptography and algorithms and how and when to apply and so forth, I could see that being 3 months. If you're not, some people have taken it and studied it in a month or 2 weeks and been just fine. But those people have a background too. The other part of understanding just the basics is every cloud has an AWS cloud practitioner, Azure fundamentals, GCP has a fundamentals class. You can go to Coursera. Coursera has a whole path on GCP. And I even think they were offering GCP certifications for free. They was offering Azure Pluralsight, and Azure had gotten together and was offering Azure certifications for free. The next one would be Learn Linux. So there's an actual class it's called the PE 124 exam. This is the way the RHCSA is broken up is between the 124 and the 134. You can take the basics, which is the 124 basics, and that class is that exam is 1 hour, and then you go back and then you finish off with the 134. And the 134, I think, is 2 hours. I think 2 hours or 3 hours. I think it's 2. But you can break that class up. You can do the fundamentals, get the basics done, right? And then roll over and do the extra part and get that done. Once you get the RHCSA done, it's on you if you want to go RHCE. I don't think it's going to be that big of a difference as far as pay. But I think once you combine that with some type of cloud and then some type of Security Plus, or some type of security class. I stick with Security Plus because everybody recognizes that. Then you're on your way to say, okay, now I'm gonna move over and start understanding things like GitLab. In fact, GitLab just released today that you can get your GitLab certification for free. They got a 101 and a 201 class. We can post that link. But with that being said, that gets you to understanding CI/CD, and which is continuous integration and continuous delivery, which combines everything from AWS to security to Linux all in one in terms of well, how do I automate this process and deploy this to the cloud and automate my security of those containers or those or of those instances? And so now you have now you are lethal, right? Because everybody is always looking for a DevOps or a DevSecOps engineer, and then a SRE engineer as well too.
You know, someone asked something, and this is GitHub Cloud Community Free Certificates. I'm going to copy this and put this in the chat. You guys should definitely check this out. A lot of free certificates. Look how far I'm still going. I'm still going down. Security, project management, marketing, others. This is free certificates you can get. Not paying any money. And my biggest thing is, someone asked, well, you know, do these companies want to hire Black people? I want y'all to understand the paradox that we're at in our society is we have 31 million boomers who are tradesmen who are ready to go home. They're 65 plus. They elbows ain't turning too many toilets. Then you have a whole nother, you know, that building many roofs, they're not climbing on stuff. You know, this whole show, if you've been watching and paying attention, is there is a massive switch of people who are retiring. Not because, hey, you know, grandpa still needs money. They're just 70 daggone years old. You know what I mean? Like they cannot work forever. And so this obsession with, well, I'm Black and I won't fit in somewhere. Who cares? The companies are going to be so short-handed, like in tech, in medical, all these places. You get in there, they act a fool. Guess what you do? You take them to the bank, and you keep it moving.
Or you find somewhere else to go. Like, you know, I hear it a lot. You know, like when are we gonna build our own? And we are.
First of all, get your skills up.
Right, we are building our own, but we just don't have the money. Like, I mean, yeah, Clubhouse is worth $4 billion. You know, already. I mean, how many? I mean, we don't have that many companies that are Black that can say they were worth $4 billion, right? The only one, the one that come closest to it was the one that Amazon bought, and that was Zox, Zoox, which is the robo taxi. And she sold to them, right? So, I mean, we really haven't had it. We're coming, but it just, you know, it's either you get in, make your money, and build your wealth, and keep the door open for somebody else, right? If you want to get in and help mentor people, if you want to get in and stay, hold the door open. If you don't want to progress, cool, don't progress, but don't stop somebody else from building up and climbing. Right?
It's like this echo chamber of like, what if I don't care. I don't care what your uncle said. I don't care what Billy Bob and Joe and them said. I don't care. You really have to get in the absolute immersion chamber. Like I made almost $500,000 one year, and I had to stop my mom on the phone and go, listen, I only want to hear yes, this is good, I'm glad, or nothing. And you have to literally be so hardcore focused, because even if something's working, people will still be like, I just don't know. Because they don't know. They're speaking from a place of scarcity, scared, focus, scrambling. So you really want to get in tune. When you watch shows like this, don't just watch this show and go, well, let me tell my wife first. No, I want you to get on this laptop, go over to the website that we just sent you in the comments, go look at it for a while, read over some things, and then go and speak to your wife or your spouse with some confidence.
Yep.
Nothing's worse than saying, I'm thinking about doing this thing, and you all wishy-washy. That family member's like, no, I don't think that's for you. You're not even confident in how you're talking about it.
Only take one person to kill a dream.
Come on, man. I mean, y'all wear me out here in these comments. Like, well, what if because I'm Black and like you are disturbing the vortex of abundance for everybody else. Now, Auntie said, listen, these boomers are tired. All you have to do is ask them they sell their business. Honey, I have a business that we're getting ready to purchase that will produce $2 million every year for the next 20 years. And so it's one of those things where you're like, it ain't broke, don't fix it. But guess what? Older people do get tired. They want to go home. They get tired. They get bored. They want to go home.
They want to do other things.
I sound better, but trust me, every 2 minutes I'm coughing. So
as my friends say, they want to do hood rat things with their friends.
That's right. Listen, one of the businesses I'm buying, the owner rides motorcycles. He be out there 60 years old getting out there. He ain't playing with y'all. All right. We got to wrap it up because I have to teach my Rise of 20% Part 2 class. But this is Cayman. Thank you for the $5 super chat. He said, just got enrolled into a coding boot camp from Ohio State University. Going to be a full stack developer.
Congratulations. Congratulations. And also, while you're doing that, start looking at, as a full stack developer, start looking at site reliability engineer.
Mm-hmm.
That'll get you, that's going to take you very far, combining those two, because now you understand the back end, you understand the front end, now understand how to keep the app up and understand how to keep it operational and keep the data flowing, right? So once you start doing that, you're open the doors. Who needs SREs? Everybody. Netflix, all the fangs, all the big companies, including including all the ones that are making outer space, going outer space. So just think about what does that look like when we're talking about going to space.
Listen, for Adrian here, I think he was late. Read it one more time. What are the certs he needs to be 1099 independent? And this is what we're gonna close the show out with. That's what I'm gonna close the show out. What's the 3?
You pick a cloud, and then Linux, and
what's the
then
cloud?
Security Plus.
What's the cloud?
Pick a cloud: AWS, Azure, GCP. Then Linux. You can go Linux Plus or RACSA, and then Security Plus. Those are the
second
basic
step:
first.
Linux Plus, and
You can
third
do
step:
Linux
Security
Plus.
Plus, y'all.
Yep.
And you can be however you want to be, baby. Okay.
Yep. And they're hiring left and right. I mean, when we're talking about being a contractor, right? So you want to set your rates. So you can set your rates anywhere from, like I say, it's some people that get paid 500 an hour, and they may work on a project for, say 160 hours, right? So you take that and multiply that out. You tell me what number you get for that. So again, the choice is on you when it comes to that.
I love it.
Up.
All right, Mr. Mika, where can they find you at? Tell them where they can find you.
Everything on Women in Linux, everything Tamika Reed on LinkedIn. We are also on Calendly. We have a one-on-one session. We also have merch, by the way. So if you want to purchase some merchandise for yourself or friends, we have that as well too. All that is in womeninlinux.org. If you hit the website, you'll see everything that you need. Donate if you want to. Also sign up to come to Slack if you want to get more information on, just about a number of everything. I mean, we talk about everything. So if you're looking for a way to break in the tech, that means you haven't been to any of my meetups, and that means you haven't been following us on YouTube, because we talk about it.
All right, listen, y'all, better get in that Women in Linux. They also let men in there, so don't be discouraged by that. They have men that are in there, but they kick off the name with Women in Linux. Listen, thank you so much for your Tuesday. Thank you for your time. And I'm just basking here in the sun, getting my vitamin D through the window. And listen, you guys, this is your girl, Erica, Classy Climb Blog. Thank you, Miss Tamika, for your time.
You're welcome.